Welcome to the Worship Keys podcast. My name is Carson Bruce. We talk all things music theory, gear, industry, and ministry for your worship keys playing. I'd like to thank Aerospace Audio for being a sponsor of this episode. They create unique, incredible, high-quality atmospheric drone pads to be used for your worship services, productions, songwriting sessions, whatever it may be. And they have an analog, physical drone pedal that they call Atmosphere. There's actually a version 3 out. They also have a MIDI in capability, so you can work in tandem with Ableton Live or any other DAW that you have to be able to control everything through that ecosystem. Or if not the physical analog pedal, they also have an iOS app that you can run the pad straight from your iPhone or iPad. It's called AeroPads. Definitely check them out, aerospaceaudio.com, and let's get into today's episode. Hey guys, my name is Carson, and I'm here to tell you about my piano sample library and how you can build your own piano sample library as well. First and foremost, it means so much that you are a part of this creative journey with me. Super excited to release my own piano sample library. As music producers, we know that having fresh and unique sounds can be difficult sometimes, so building your own unique library can be very beneficial. So I hope that my piano sample library can be beneficial for some of you. It's now released. There were 5 different pianos that were sampled, and of those 5, there are 10 different patches. Each piano was recorded on a regular sounding piano and then also felted. So we have the regular and felt version of the 5 different pianos. So looking forward to releasing those and seeing what you guys create with those sounds. This is just the first video of many to follow. We're going to go over what equipment is needed to make your own piano sample library, and really any sample library, not just piano. Could be drums, could be guitar, ukulele, harp, whatever it may be. First and foremost, you'll need a computer with a digital audio workstation. In my case, I use a MacBook Pro. This is my MacBook Pro, does the job well. You need a reliable computer, and I use Pro Tools to track my piano sample libraries, and then later will be bounced to be used in other places like Logic Pro X and MainStage. But basically I track everything in Pro Tools, 96K, 32-bit float. So as long as you can handle a lot of processing, you're good to go on that computer and your digital audio workstation. Second thing you'll need is a good interface. So what I particularly use for my piano sample library is this Focusrite Scarlett 18i20 interface. What was good about this is there are 8 different preamps here. So you have these 2 inputs at the front, and you have the rest here at the back of this interface. But I love this interface. It's very reliable. Preamps are clean, pretty straightforward for what interfaces do. So you'll definitely want an interface that can turn your analog signal into a digital signal going into your computer. Anyway, this one has 8 preamps, which I love. For my example, the most mics I use to mic an upright piano for my piano sample library was 7 microphones at once. So this worked great for me. I could have put one more microphone in for a total of 8, but this did the job for me. One thing you need to consider when you're looking at an interface is how many inputs it has and how many different mics you're going to want to use, which leads us to our next piece of equipment, our microphones. You can have as little or as many microphones as you want to. So let's talk about microphone selections. Honestly, this video could be 30, 45 minute long if we really wanted it to, but just going to kind of give a rundown of some different mic selections that you can use. Really depends on your preference. It depends on what you have access to. So I'm first going to start off with the microphones that I use for my piano sample library. So the minimum that I use for every piano, I use 4 microphones, and then the most I used on a single upright piano was 7 microphones at one time. So again, you can go less or more with that, whatever desired sound you're going for. So let's take my microphones that I use for my piano sample library as an example. It's good to have a good pair of large diaphragm condenser microphones. So I went with these GXL 3000s CAD microphones. I used a pair of these right here, stereo. What I usually did in my piano sample library, I used these as the microphones that were kind of the performer's perspective. So they were near my ears. Sometimes they were wider right here, kind of in front of me. They were kind of close to my head. Anyway, I tried some different configurations with different upright pianos, but these were used in every single piano that I recorded. So love these microphones. Second stereo pair I used are these Rode NT5 microphones. Really cool little pencil condenser microphones. Basically, I use these a lot, just like this, up above the piano, like this, pointed towards the hammers, kind of in equidistance as the CAD microphones. So yeah, these are great microphone options. Another stereo pair condenser microphones that I used later on in my piano sample library are the Pro 37s. And these are pretty basic condenser mics, not expensive at all, Audio-Technica. And basically I put these on the back side of the upright piano, kind of down low, and it kind of got some more mellow, darker sounds into the mix, and I really enjoyed having these on the back side. And then another one, Audio-Technica as well, is this clip-on condenser mic. This is designed for like a horn microphone, but I just clipped it onto different parts of the piano. I just kind of clipped it on, and it was just a few inches from the hammer. It got a lot of detail in the attack of the hammer, so I think it's a great idea to have a microphone near the hammer if you can. So anyway, those are my go-to 7 microphones that I used for my personal piano sample library, but I want to also discuss other microphone options if you have the possibility. A good large diaphragm, just good natural sounding stereo microphones to use on a piano that I recommend. AKG C414 microphones, can't go wrong with these. These are wonderful as a spaced pair, awesome microphones. The Shure KSM 44s, great stereo microphone options. The Neumann TLM 140s, wonderful mic options to use. I personally, of those 3 stereo pairs, tend to either go with the 414s or the KSM 440, the 44s, just depending on the highs and the mids and the lows and how it's breaking through. Sometimes you don't want it to be too shrill, depending on where you place it and everything. Those are always great go-to microphones. Some good pencil condenser microphones options would be also the Shure KSM 141 microphones. Up above would be nice, or down below on the back side of an upright piano, or spaced pair, or whatever, XY, coincident pair, whatever you want to do. These are good alternative options as well. Small diaphragm condenser mics. These Shure Beta 181s are very interesting looking microphones, but they also sound really good on pianos if you have access to those. Also, these Earthworks are wonderful microphones if you have access to them. Wonderful to test out and use. As far as dynamic microphones go, you can really just use your standard SM57. Can never go wrong with SM57. It doesn't get as much detail. You might could try this right near the hammer, because you're not going to get a lot of pops or plosives from the air. Sometimes there's a lot of air that can pop your signal if your microphone gets too close to the hammer. So using a dynamic microphone like SM57 would be really good for getting really close to the hammers. Also, if you want to mic your pedal down below to get the pedal noise, really good to get those really up close and personal with like an SM57, just a mono source. You could use an MD421 for the same purposes if you wanted to, especially for like a low end pedal, or just the bottom end of a piano might sound good. I wouldn't use this in and of itself on a piano. Also, this is a cool, interesting microphone, stereo microphone in and of itself, and Shure makes it, and it's the VP88. You know, kind of long microphone. But anyway, this is definitely an option. I've used this before and I've heard this, and it works. So you can just put it, it's kind of central, or play around with it, record it, listen to it, see where you like it. If you're looking into a ribbon microphone to use on your piano, I would definitely suggest the Shure KSM 313. Besides how great it sounds, it also looks beautiful with the red. I love that look. So if you have access to this, I would put it like dead middle, you know, put your stereo pair to left and right and put this maybe dead middle, or in the dead, you know, middle back or something. The microphone preferences are completely up to you, completely up to what you have access to. There's a lot of tons of great options out there. You really just want to have to think about your environment and the instrument that you're recording at the time. Additionally, you'll need a good pair of headphones. These are Sennheiser HD 280 Pros, closed back, so it cancels out the noises around you. Definitely suggest getting any pair of headphones that are more noise canceling. Doesn't matter to get the super high end as long as they do the job. I think these were fairly inexpensive headphones that you can grab, and they just fit around your head, cancels out the noise, but you want to be able to monitor what you're recording for your samples. It's really important that you're not clipping, and also that you're getting a good clear signal for your preamp. So anyway, you want a good pair of headphones, and in addition to all those things, you'll also need all of your XLR cables and microphone stands that go along with all that. Next, we're going to be talking about the recording process, and I'm going to show you what I did to record my first upright piano for my upright piano sample library. What do you do when you go to record your instrument? This is a very important aspect in this whole process of making your sample library. So first and foremost, let's talk about the pre-planning. Pre-planning is so very important. So what you need to consider when you're creating your library is the instrument itself and the environment in which you're going to record your instrument. In my case, I'm recording upright pianos. So I need to think about what kind of tone am I going for? What kind of characteristic? How old is the piano? How new is the piano? How is the action? How in tune is it? Is it something I want? Do I want it to be out of tune slightly? Do I want it to be perfectly in tune? What characteristics do we want our instrument to be? So think about the instrument itself before you go and mic it and record it. You need to actually think about the quality of the instrument. I know that seems like common sense, but sometimes I feel like we just go and don't even hear the instrument first and we just record it. I think it's really important to think about what the instrument sounds like in its space as well. So if I'm going for a really intimate sounding upright piano, I'm not going to want to go record a piano in a huge gymnasium or a big cathedral. I want it to be in someone's living room or in a small studio. I want it to be in a space that's not going to give me these large reverb tells. So you want to think about the instrument itself and the environment in which you're going to record. So right now I'm going to take you on my process of recording at Miller Piano Specialists in Franklin, Tennessee. And this is the Ritmüller upright piano. So I'm going to take you from setup to tear down, from what all is needed, and show you all that I do in Pro Tools and how to set up the microphones and everything. So let's do that. I got two CAD GXL 3000 microphones, about ear level, and Rode pencil mic condensers. And for preamps, we got Scarlett interface 18i20. All right, so right now I'm inside Miller Piano in Franklin, Tennessee. They've been kind enough to let me come in here and sample this beautiful Ritmüller piano that you see right here, 52 inches, sounds beautiful. I'm gonna sample all of the notes by fifths going up from starting with this first C down here. The first thing after the setup was making sure I'm comfortable. This bench is really nice, no squeaks are going on. If I'm to move just a little bit, sometimes the chairs and the benches can squeak, so this one seems to be pretty stable. Any little subtle movement could potentially get in the way of our recording for each sample, so we just gotta make sure little things like the headphone cord has enough slack here. I'm comfortable enough with where I am and what I'm wearing so I can play freely and be comfortable enough to be consistent with the round robins and the different velocities. One important thing to note is you want to go ahead and set your gain for all of your mics according to the loudest velocity that you'll be playing at. As long as you're not clipping on anything, all right, our first round is done. And as you can see, Pro Tools a few times had some CPU issues. We are recording at 96K. And I'm making some new playlists here. The second round will be medium velocity, more meso forte, starting back with the same notes. As you can see, these microphones are about ear level, so you're hearing a stereo image of what a performer is hearing when they're playing the instrument from about right here. It's a little wider than my ears and an average person's ears, but it's about that same. Up here, you're getting a direct downward motion to the keys. About to record round 2. Pro Tools is going. All right, starting back down here at C. That was our second round. I'm gonna go ahead and label these tracks, so I'm staying organized in these playlists. Organization is key, so I'm gonna go ahead and relabel what we just did. All right, we're about to do the last round robin at Forte. Pro Tools is rolling. Here we go, starting same spot. Having some CPU issues again in Pro Tools, here we go. All right, and that was the third round. I'll put this into a playlist as well. Name these. All right, so the second part of this is to record the felt piano within this Ritmüller. So with the middle pedal engaged and down to the left, it engages the felt over between the strings and the hammers. For a nice muted effect. So we're about to record the samples the same way within felt as well. But this time we'll just do 2 different velocities instead of 3. Pro Tools is going. Here we go. I'm actually gonna start over. I'm gonna readjust the gain that I had on the preamps from previous. So I'll play the loudest that we'd go to. And push the preamps a little more. All right, then we'll start over here. We're gonna move those down and label those as well. Now we're gonna get the last forte velocity here. We're gonna get the forte velocity for the felt. Here we go, Pro Tools is running. Okay, looks like we have our 5 round robins, 3 of the regular and 2 of the felt. And the next step would be to listen back to these and make sure they were good. All right, and I hope that video was helpful for you. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. We're gonna be talking about editing these samples. So we're gonna be listening back to what we recorded, and we will be editing out all the noises, splicing up the samples. We'll be getting into the nitty-gritty of Pro Tools and how to clean up your samples. So stay tuned for that, and look forward to seeing you next time.